post-millennial timeline and prophecy fulfillment theory. Here is the timeline illustration I am proposing to everybody. It is a 1360-year period from 5640 to the 7,000th year. So 1,000 years for the Son of Man's kingdom, which is the second Advent fulfillment. And then the last 360 years would be the little season of Revelation 20, verse 3. I would imagine most end-time prophecy scholars, after scanning over the 6 examples on this timeline, would disagree with my placement of the new heaven and new earth. Let me explain my personal interpretation with the scriptural evidence and why I have this position. If you look at 2 Peter chapter 3, verses 10 through 13, Peter describes that after the tribulation, during the great and terrible day of the Lord, that the elements will melt with fervent heat, as well as the heavens will dissolve or roll up like a scroll, using that terminology from Revelation. He then continues to say that they look forward to a new heaven and new earth after the great and terrible day of the Lord. And it would make sense that the beloved city, or the holy city, New Jerusalem, or that great city, the holy city, New Jerusalem, described in Revelation chapter 20, 21, and 22, is going to come down and reign on earth for 1,000 years to fulfill the second advent of Jesus Christ. You have to have a new heaven and new earth created, because as Peter just described, the first heaven and the first earth are destroyed. And so if the beloved city from Revelation chapter 20, verse 3 is going to come down and reign for 1,000 years, then it has to have a new firmament, a new dome firmament placed over it, new heavens, as well as new topsoil laid down, or earth. Earth is dirt. And those people who are going to be ruled over for 1,000 years with the rod of iron, Jesus Christ, 1,000-year reign, as well as the resurrected martyred saints, they have to have a new heaven, new earth to live on. The Lord is not going to have his sun come down and scorched earth with no firmament, no grass, no trees. Man and wildlife cannot survive and replenish. Another scriptural example I can give to you to consider why I believe the new heaven and new earth takes place during the 1,000-year reign of Christ and the little season, and I believe we're at the end of the little season, is looking at Revelation chapter 20, verse 11 through 15. And those verses tell us on the great white throne judgment that death and hell are cast into the lake of fire. And if I'm understanding that information correctly, that means there's going to be no more sin. So when you move on to chapter 21 of Revelation, 22 of Revelation, it talks about in chapter 22, verses 14 and 15, that outside of the gates of that city, man is still sinning. Yet chapter 20, verses 11 through 15 tells us it sounds like there's sin no more. So that would indicate to me that chapters 21 and 22 take place during the 1,000 years of Christ in chapter 20 of Revelation, because there still is sin. And I believe the third advent is obviously a sinless era where only those who are written in the book of life will live in the cube city in the kingdom of heaven. That I believe the beloved city ascended back to heaven after the 1,000 years ended, and even possibly the battle of Gog and Magog might have taken place. Or it's at hand. And my question to you is, where is the beloved city? If not, and if we trust what the scriptures say, then we know the 1,000 years have been fulfilled. We have to look at our world today and say, well, we don't see the beloved city. There aren't angels down here. There are not resurrected martyred saints. There's no 1,300-mile tall, wide, cubed city emit. There's no Feast of Tabernacles having to be fulfilled every end of the fall. So those are some of the reasons that you might want to consider that I believe the new heaven and new earth takes place, and I put them in the timeline of now, as well as when the third advent happens. It's going to be an eternal state in heaven without sin, of course. May God bless you. Thanks for listening.